I bought every garment steamer from Walmart that was $30 or less, and I rated them for you. I'm prepping fabric nice and creasy so we can see how well they do. Heads up, one does not steam at all, and another one is so perfect that I'm keeping it for my own use. Okay, look at how adorable this is. Oh my goodness. It says on the box here that it only takes a minute to heat up. This is the normal steamer. This is the size of it, and we have our boiler and all that. And then this is this little guy. This is the SteamFast Model i3, and it's got this, looks like kind of like a Teflon base on it. It's got a nice coating on it. It's plugged in, but it's not powered on, so I think that's kind of cool. It's got its own power button. Some of those little bitty craft ones don't have that. And so here's the little spout and the little bitty cup. I just think that's the cutest. All right, so we're gonna fill that up. Okay, so there's a little bit of an incompatibility here. This is already full. If I were to add any more to it, it would spill out, and there's still some in there. So that, I do think it would be nice, like if that max line was down a little bit lower probably. All right, so we do actually have a temperature dial on here. We're gonna go ahead and turn this up to max. We wanna see what this bad boy can do. The little amber light came on to let us know it's heating up. And we have, it says 1 minute until hot. Okay, so I'm gonna test these two different ways. One way is going to be more like a flat iron. I saw the light turned off, so it's indicating that it's ready. So I'm going to kind of flat press the bottom of each of these, not spending too much time on them. I want it to be realistic, and I'm like not super impressed with that. We're going to pin up on the hanger, and we're gonna do a vertical steam with those. Let's see, I'm gonna release this. Is steam just supposed to come out? Okay. Nothing is coming out. Heating indicator light will illuminate. That was the amber. When the heating indicator light turns off, press the steam button, which we did. So we pressed it for the steam button to open. Button will lock into raised position, and the unit will begin emitting steam from steam vents on iron plate. No. Like, not a little bitty squish of steam. What is happening? I'll tell you exactly what is happening. Buried on page 11, it says, unit is designed to steam horizontally. So even though the outside of the box appears to show this iron performing a vertical steam, apparently it does not do that. And I cannot imagine needing or wanting a so-called travel iron that does not do a vertical steam. Wow.
Nary a steam is coming out. Okay. I give this one a 0. I'm sorry, that was really bad. Onward and upward. This is the only Hamilton Beach one that I saw, and it has a few extra features. It's bigger than the other steamers, but it claims to have 15 minutes of continuous steam and fast heat up, ready in 30 seconds, okay? So this claims to heat up faster than even that little bitty one. And then it's 1,000 watts, so this one you're probably gonna need a polarized plug outlet for.
And it says the water tank is removable, so you can like go fill it up somewhere and bring it back. You can see they're filling it up at the sink. I don't really ever recommend that. Somebody will say when they're picking up their dress and taking it to the wedding, they'll say, what's your tips for steaming? And I'll say, just make sure that you use distilled water, because when the steamer burps on your clothes, notice I said when, and it leaves a little water spot. A lot of times that outline that you see from where a water spot dried, that's just the minerals left behind. So I always recommend, if you're using a steamer on clothing that really matters and that can show some spots, definitely get some distilled water. It's super cheap. Just pick it up at the grocery store and do that instead. It also has this brush. It says work steam deep into fibers with the included brush. There's our included brush. I filled up the reservoir. That was very straightforward. This little hatch opens up and it's got a little gasket there. Filled it up. And it clicks in, which is nice. It lets you know you did that right. But look at this. Look at that ball and socket there for that. That looks really nice for an inexpensive steamer. All right, I'm gonna plug it in. She lights up. Pretty. Oh my goodness, she's warm already. How did that happen? Look at that. Wow. That's impressive. All right, so this one is not iron, where you iron horizontally. But I'm gonna use this metal plate, and I am gonna kind of press it just to see if you had a harsh crease. Can you steam and press? Let's do some vertical steam, people. And this time I'm really putting some traction on here. And this is a good steaming pointer, by the way. If you can't get the wrinkles to come out, it's always good to hit it from the back side, and you're pushing the steam through the fibers. So it's already gone through one direction, and then I flipped it around and it's going through the other direction. And you see how much better it's doing now. Tremendously better. That's how much of the reservoir I used. So I feel like I steamed quite a bit. I didn't steam for very long, but I was really holding that button down. So let's look at this. This is way better than the other one. I think I would travel with this. It heated up really fast. I'll give it an 8.
This is the Black & Decker Easy Store handheld steamer. This is the steamer number 3 that we are looking at. It has an interesting form factor. You can see how it kind of bends there at the neck, so that way you can just pack it a little bit easier. But this says you can steam for 7 minutes with it, and it only takes 45 seconds to heat up. So let's test it out.
I'm just going to use a little funnel here. And I'm not really sure how to know how much water to put in it. I guess you just watch. Oops. Well, okay, that was more than you put in it. I was gonna say, I guess you just watch the reservoir, but because it's slanted, it fills up right here and spills out. I was watching up here. This one I think is the prettiest form factor that I have seen of the steamers. I think it's pretty. Is that a thing? So I plugged this in, and another thing that I like about this is that it has a power button. They just like make me feel so much more safe. I like to know, you know, when it's on or off. Guys, it's happening. It feels like Christmas morning or something. That was so fast. All right, so I am gonna try it. Man, it just cranks out. Look at it go. Okay, so there's no button to make the steam go out or not. It just goes. This has a lot of vent holes too. Okay, this guy's trucking. I was gonna start with the ironing, but I gotta start with this. Okay, she's a burper. Look at all the burps. Oh my. Oh, ay, 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 ay. She's hot too. I just got, oh, I'm getting my knuckles burned. Just so you know, she is blasting steam and it's wet. Can you see how wet that is? So, oy, your clothes are gonna get soaked if you use this. And let's see if the drippage slows down as the water level goes down, because remember I did overfill it. So I'm gonna see if it's just always this wet or if that was my fault for overfilling it. Ay, ay, ay. This is definitely the hottest steamer that we've tested, and it's coming out with force. So I'm gonna see if I can use this as an iron. I don't think I can. I think I would get burned if I tried to use this. Yeah, it's too wet. Well, I guess you could if you just had to get one little spot out. Remember, it kind of will. All right, let's check and see this again, if it's still this wet. Ay, ay, ay. Something about the design, it just keeps coming back on my fingers, and I'm not used to that with steamers. And it doesn't matter what angle I hold it at, that's what's happening. Okay, now that I've used it, I don't like this. This is like drinking from a fire hose. This like makes me uncomfortable. I feel like, whew. Okay. I feel like if I were to use this like at a wedding or something, some type of formal event, I know you don't ever want to steam around hair and makeup because it can kind of ruin hair and makeup, but this puppy would really ruin hair and makeup. Like, my whole cutting room was just turned into a sauna just now. That was crazy. This is soaked. It's so wet. So, I'm sorry, my pretty little pageant, my pretty little pageant steamer. But I'm sorry, but I don't like you at all. So I would rank this like a 3 or 4. It just made a mess. It's so wet. All right, this bad boy from Conair, #1 selling garment steamer brand in the USA. Okay, 20% faster heat up, 1200 watts, steam power, 30 years. But like faster than what? You have to have it like, if you're gonna use a comparison, people, you have to say faster than what? Oh my goodness. Okay, fast, flawless results, extreme steam. Uh-oh. We've seen some extreme steam today. All right, kills 99.9% of bacteria because it like scalds it, I guess. All right, let's see. 2 steam settings. So we have settings on this one. 40-second fast heat up with 10 minutes of steam time. All right, let's get going on this and see. Let's see if all their promises are true or if they're trying to do a little tricky on us. All right. Oh my goodness, it's kind of big. I think this is like, this is the biggest one that we're testing. Oh, look, it says on here, use distilled water only. Read instruction book. They know what's what. All right, so it does have a very little bitty hole to put all that water in. Wow. They expect us to have like really good aim. Oh good, my funnel fits. Lock and unlock. Oh, so your thumb doesn't get tired. You can either manually do it or you can lock it down where you don't have to keep working your thumb there. High heat, low heat. All right, let's check this out. How do we know when it's heated up? I have it on high heat. Wait for green light before using, it says. All right. Oh, it makes a racket when it's ready too. Lovely. I do wonder, like, how are you supposed to, like, there's no way to put it down. You know what I mean? Whoa, okay. She's ready. Okay, so we've got another spotter situation here. It's definitely a wet one, but I have found, and you may have found too, that when you're steaming, the more output it has, the more likely it is to kind of burp and sputter and carry on. Let's see. I want you to be able to see how much comes out. It's really cranking out. Now, this is different from the Conair because I'm not getting burned. This is, I guess, far enough away. This is so much more comfortable than the Conair. And I am actually using it locked. So I don't have to put my, get my index finger workout today. All right, another thing is, I know I said it's giving spots, but this is gonna sound weird. The spots aren't as wet as the Conair one was. Like, it's not as saturated. And I know that's hard for you guys to tell, because it probably just looks like wet spots. Like, wet spots are wet spots, right? But no, these are not quite as wet. Yeah, that doesn't work. There's no hot sole plate there to make a difference in the fabric. And the wrinkles are really starting to come out now. Wow. And the spots have pretty much dried already. And it's not continuing to spit and sputter like it did when we first started. This one so far is our best one. I'm getting my facial spa today. So far, it's the best for vertical steam. The only drawback is it is really big. So if you don't have a lot of room in your suitcase, it's probably not going to be super convenient to fit that in there. So this one, I'd give it, I don't know, an 8 or 9. Here's our second steamer by the brand Steamfast. This one is called the Nomad, and it's made specifically for traveling because they talk about how thin it is and packing it, steam in under 30 seconds, 800 watts, so it's gonna be a little bit easier maybe to find a place to plug this in. Thin, durable, and made to travel, so that's cool. Obviously, I'm not doing any durability tests. So this is a nice little form factor. It has a power button and a light, and this reservoir here, and it's got a metal plate, so if you had to push against a little bit, you could. That's nice. All right, let's see. How to fill. I like how breathable that was. The water just went right in. Didn't have to wait for it to gurgle up. So here's your steam button and here's your power button. It is kind of weird that like I'm laying it on its side. It has these bumpers that let me know that that's okay. Nobody's gonna come get me and I'm not gonna be in trouble for that, but it does seem strange. Like I always feel like water should be like, you know, up and down. Steam in under 30 seconds. All right, we got our power. Let's just see. Okay, we've got a green light, so it says it's ready. All right, it's pretty wet starting out, but we've had a couple of steamers that still did a really good job even though they started out wet. Now, I was spoiled by that one model that let me just switch the on button on and just lock it and not have to hold the button down. Poor me, I'm having to hold the button down. Ooh, she is spitting and sputtering, isn't she? It's not burning my hand though. And actually that got the wrinkles out really well for just working on the one side so far. And this sounds minor, but for people who fatigue quickly, this is using a lot of the top of the forearm, whereas the other kind of steamers, you're able to use your bicep, which is a larger muscle. So I feel like, again, this sounds really wimpy and spoiled, but I want to just cover the experience for you. I feel like I get tired faster with this one. All right, this is so wet, and it's continuing to wet the fabric. Let me see if it doubles as an iron at all, since it has that plate. It wasn't very effective at getting those wrinkles out though. I just feel like there's not a lot of steam coming out. Nomad, I wanted to love you, and I'm just not all that impressed. It's a solid 5.
Steamer number 6 is the Black & Decker Compact Garment Steamer. This one promises a 30-second heat up. It also says it has a slim design with a wide steam head, and it has an on-off steam trigger, so you know I'll be happy about that. It's 1,000 watts. Let's see what it does.
Oh, there's a little bit of steam coming out already. You see it? Let me get that dark behind you. There you go. Whoop. That's a good bit of steam for this little guy. Okay, so the head is not very broad. It only has like 7 holes that the steam comes out of. They're not very big. And the head is pretty narrow on this thing. So it's gonna take a few more passes probably to steam the garment. I would say this is not getting the fabric as wet as the other previous larger size steamers. So that's good. This is kind of like a happy medium. The fabric is getting a much less wet. But the size of it is smaller, so it's very compact for traveling. I didn't know how I was going to feel about this with not having the metal plate on it. I didn't know if it would work as well, but so far I've only done the front side and it's really coming out. Wow! Guys, this might be the best one so far. Okay, I would actually travel with this. Okay, you can kind of use it as an iron. It's definitely more effective as a steamer. I don't think that's as good as a metal sole plate, but that's not how it was meant to be made anyways. Wow, I'm really going slow with these strokes. And look at the fabric is not getting wet. So kind of the extra moisture came out in the very beginning, but now it's a very even amount of steam. Just, this is my favorite. The size of it, the weight of it, the fact that it has a button, it has a light to let you know if it's ready. A decent sized reservoir. I think I'm actually going to keep this one. This one isn't going to go back. This has everything I could possibly need in a little travel steamer, and I'm going to give this one a 10. This is our final one to test, and I'm super excited about this one because, well, even though it's made by Steamfast and we haven't had the best of luck with them, this is one that I found in the sewing section at Walmart. So this was not in the home goods ironing part of Walmart. So we'll see if there's something special about this iron. So this is called the Mighty Steam Iron, the SF707. And you can see here that they're trying to emphasize that it's got multi-functions here. It's for traveling, you can steam your drapes, clothing, suits, and then also crafts. The reason why they're saying you can do all these things is because this one actually has variable temperature settings. So the other Steamfast that we reviewed also had a dial, but I don't remember it having quite as much detail on the dial as this did. We were just cranking it up to max to be able to get the steam to come out. But this one actually has, you know, some degrees and stuff on it. This one I would say is more likely to be the one that when you see somebody who has just a craft iron set up like right beside their sewing machine so they can, you know, bounce back and forth, just sew, press without having to get up. This looks like more of the suitable iron to have for that. This is a little fidgety. This is a very small hole for the water to go in. Wow. And the funnel is not going to fit down in there very, very well. Whoa. No. Is it already full? Or did it get clogged? Oh my gosh, this thing is wet. It's soaked. Can this thing, oh, yeah. Okay, this holds hardly any water. It might be amazing, you never know. Might be a sleeper. That's actually doing fairly well. Oh, here we go. We've got some steam. Let's see how it works. Okay, we've got graffiti scribbles. The water came out in graffiti scribbles, which is not always great. Okay, I was really trying to stay away from it because it was saying vertical steam. I just wanted to see what would come out. But I'm going to go ahead and kind of put the pressure on it and rub against the fabric like I would the other steamers and see what happens. The problem is it only has those 4 little holes. Like, I just don't see it being able to steam very much, especially since it holds such a very small amount of water. Okay, so it's giving, instead of that steady vertical steam that I would normally call vertical steam, where it's just that. You like my sound effect? Instead of that, this reminds me more of the steam burst that you get from one of those like $9 hotel irons. Honestly, I would probably just buy a $9 hotel iron because it would hold more water, and just set that up beside your ironing table if you want one. This is like, oh, it's a joke. There's just not enough steam coming out. Like a little burst comes out and then it goes away, and you're just scrubbing it with this little bitty sole plate. But if we're really judging this as a travel vertical steamer, and there it's burping again, but the wrinkles aren't coming out. I hate it. I give it a 1. I'm sorry. I just would not buy that again.